Per Sheila's request.
Oh, we just need like.
Sheila wants to take the room here and throw us out. I like that.
Yeah. No, we're gonna leave the room to John. I already told him, John, it's his room. John, I'm not sure if the YouTube will still be on or not, so you can come sit up here and do a monologue. You know, you could like, you could do a monologue on each one of us. That'd be hilarious.
No, I can leave when you have your.
No, we're going across the hall, that per Sheila's request. I'm just saying, the room will be yours. You could have a camera.
Easier, so you don't have to shut the thing on and off.
You could, you know.
And then you lose internet connection or something.
Kids sometimes do that in school as they, you know, talk about all the different people they have there, and sometimes it's like so cute, or sometimes just really funny, because they're so accurate. I know, we're on. Hi, everybody. Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen on July 6, 2021. Our starting agenda item is called to order. Candace, please.
Candace Bouchard.
Todd Arshalashi.
Melissa Bird.
Josh Kelly.
Hi, Candy Perez.
Sheila Sedlak.
Jack Bork.
Stephen Sedlak.
Linda Grappo.
Would you please join us for a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3 is the agenda review. I'd just like to let everybody know that we moved executive session up towards the top of the meeting so that when our attorneys come here, that we pay per hour to be here, that we have a reasonable amount of time that they don't have to wait until the end of our meeting. And then, so that's why it's up there, because somebody asked me about that already. So, anybody else with anything? Okay, approval of minutes of our regular meeting of June 21st.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Todd. Any corrections, additions for Sheila? I'm hearing none. All in favor of the minutes? And there's abstentions?
Yes.
Two
Abstain.
abstentions?
Me too.
Because they were excused at the last meeting. So I don't see either attorney here right now. So I will ask for citizens' comments. Anybody up front? No, okay. And Josh, you want to start in your town manager's report?
I certainly can.
And keep the meeting moving along, and when they come, we will take a break and go in executive session.
Absolutely. So good evening, everyone. In the past 2 weeks since we last met, there's been a lot of activity at Town Hall, a lot of things that are in progress and that are really, I think, speaking to the progress that the town's making on a number of different facets. So I'll give you, as I usually do, just a summary of some of the activities that have occurred in the last couple of weeks, but please feel free to ask questions about any of the items that I have listed in my update. So first and foremost, as I spoke with you, as I spoke about 2 weeks ago, we had training occurring on the General Code project. General Code is a company that has come and is working with us to make sure that we have all of our ordinances codified online in a very searchable, very user-friendly format. And General Code has also conducted a legal review. We are still in progress with having the various departments going through the suggestions that General Code had for legal revisions to our ordinances to make sure that everything is in compliance with the general statutes, to make sure that there are no redundant ordinances or conflicting ordinances. So this is a very positive thing from my perspective, and I was happy to have some training on the various softwares that they use on their website to make sure that everybody who's going to be a hands-on part of that process knows exactly what it is that they're doing. An item that we're going to talk about tonight is a housing plan. As many of you may or may not have heard, there is a requirement by the state of Connecticut that every town I should say, that has less than 10% of its housing stock considered to be affordable housing, to create a plan that really takes a look at the holistic community of each municipality and attempts to determine how it can move forward to make sure that it has a variety of housing stock so that it has a healthy and vibrant community itself. We had a call with Jocelyn Iyer from the COG, and that was Katie Vale and I, regarding a housing plan in Winchester. This is a requirement that the state has for these municipalities. Winchester, I'll get into the specifics of Winchester's housing plan a little bit more, but we did have an informational session with Jocelyn on Monday, June 21st. Additionally, the Hinsdale School Renovation Committee continues to meet and is tackling items as they may arise. I've had the opportunity now, after some questions came from the Board of Selectmen a number of weeks ago regarding our cybersecurity, and I had the opportunity to meet with RKL, which is the company here in town that takes a look at, on a periodic basis, our cybersecurity measures, and to speak with representatives from RKL about what it is that they're doing here in Winsted. I'm happy to say that I won't share specifics here at this meeting, but I do feel that we have a very robust cybersecurity program here, and I feel that RKL has very capable hands in this regard. I have met now with a candidate for the Civil Service Commission. That individual was brought to me actually through a number of connections in town, and it's my recommendation to the Civil Service Commission that that individual be appointed to the board. But she, before anything moves forward, is going to meet with the members of the Civil Service Commission to ensure that they feel it will be a good fit, and based on that recommendation, I will make a final determination. Obviously, conversations about long-range planning continue. I know that many of you have been part of those conversations, and our work as members of the town staff continues to try and create a plan that's going to work for everybody, as well as discussions around the American Rescue Plan funds. For more information, I'm happy to share a bit more about what occurred at the past meetings of the Long-Range Planning Committee meeting and the American Rescue Plan meeting with you apart from this Board of Selectmen meeting. We did have Senator Murphy come to the Senior Center. I know that a number of you were able to attend that. I thought it was a good conversation, and it was great to have so many members of the senior population here in town specifically be able to come and hear a bit more about what he has to say with issues specifically concerning them post-COVID. I've had the opportunity to talk a lot more with Bill Ryan, who I believe will be walking in any minute now, or even right now. We are moving forward not only with discussions that we will have tonight, but also on discussions with the Supervisors Union and the Town Hall Secretaries Union. That addresses many of the highlights that I had for this past week. As you all know, you're also receiving, I do apologize that there was 1 week that was skipped, but you did receive in your inboxes just yesterday a summary of the past 2 weeks from my perspective in a little bit more detail than shared here in your packet. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Josh, the other thing I'd like to have you make public is that the work on the Sue Grossman Trail is continuing, and that you've updated, I know, some information here. That's an ongoing public interest, and I'd like the public through this meeting and through other ways to know that we have not lost track of that.
Absolutely. Progress does continue, just as you said, Jack. I had the opportunity just last week to meet with Jim Rollins, Bart Clark from the Department of Public Works, as well as the engineering firm that they're working with to move the project forward. We're nearing the end of the Phase 1 engineering. They had a few final questions for Jim and Bart that I was able to be a party to at that meeting, and they will be incorporating the answers to those questions. The engineering firm, I should say, will be incorporating the answers to those questions in the next few weeks, and the final engineering will be complete on that Phase 1 of the trail.
Thank you.
No problem.
Steve?
Thank you for your weekly reports. The detail is very helpful, Josh. The candidate at Civil Service, can you tell us what position, or you'd rather not tell us at this time?
It is a full member on the Civil Service Commission. That is the position that's vacant.
Membership on the commission? I
Yes.
thought you were talking about a candidate.
Oh, I apologize. No,
No.
membership on the commission.
I misheard you. Thank you.
No problem.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, if we have questions, obviously we can come back to them later. But right now, we're going to move to our executive session. So our first executive session is gonna be the discussion possible action on the Public Works Union contract. And then the second topic of discussion in executive session will be action regarding strategy and negotiations with respect to the pending litigation, Town of Winchester versus Laurel City Revamp LLC, and that will be with Attorney Nelligan. And the contract, Public Works contract, will be with Attorney Ryan. So may I have a motion from someone on the board to go into executive session, taking the attorneys in with us and the town manager with us.
Sorry, Candy, I would just ask that Bob Geiger be included on the second part, the latter part of the executive session.
Oh, is he here?
He will be here
Okay.
momentarily.
Okay,
Yeah.
have Bob Geiger. please.
Isn't this really two executive sessions?
Yeah, A and B.
Shouldn't they be split out that way?
Do you want us to come back in between?
No, are you gonna have the same personnel at both meetings?
No, but that's why I said Attorney Nelligan with Laurel City Revamp. And
Okay. As long as it's clear that there are two separate meetings with different personnel in each meeting.
would you like me to reword things? Well, you can make the motion, so here we go.
No, I think town clerk has the essence of it and she can put it together.
All right, so may I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Linda. All in favor? Okay, so for our first one will be the Public Works Union contract, and it will be Attorney Ryan. For the second one with Laurel City Revamp will be former manager Geiger and Attorney Nellis. And we will be back. You have to shut off that recording.
Just the,
Who's sitting behind me? I didn't see it.
The attorney, Ryan,
Oh, Ryan?
yeah. Yep.
I didn't even see him. Candy just asked me where he went.
I've got to run in and talk to Mark for a minute.
Well, no problem. You do what you have to do. Hopefully I won't pass out here. Hey, Kip. They're all left, huh? They're across the hall with the other,
Bob Geiger, you see Bob Geiger?
No, he hasn't come in yet. He should be in here any minute. So how you been?
All right, just running around.
Did you go to the parade yesterday?
No, I forgot where I was yesterday.
That's easy to do today.
I was somewhere. Can't remember.
Yeah, I don't think this pandemic's quite over yet.
I think it's over for us vaccinated. Unvaccinated, they could be having a rough winter. We'll see.
I just don't wanna get that,
Delta variant.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I don't wanna go back to the last, wasn't it, you know, going through it, I guess maybe it didn't seem as bad, but the thought of going back to that kind of restrictions, I'm really not in the mood for that.
Well, most of my family's been vaccinated, but I got one brother, he won't get vaccinated.
No, huh?
No.
It's too bad, yeah.
He's 750 miles from us, so. I won't go, I won't go visit him, he won't come visit me.
No. Well, that's what'll be interesting this winter, if the unvaccinated areas of the country get hit hard, and the vaccinated country parts don't, maybe that'll sink in finally, I don't know.
Well, I'm hoping so. It's a tough way to go.
It is, it's a tough way to, right.
I don't know, I got a grandson that's 7 and one that's 8, and I think that was hard on them.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
And they're in Winston school, so they'll have lost like 8 days or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard on the kids. You've gotta figure they had to fall behind, oh, you'd have to.
But somehow he managed to get good grades in his distance learning.
Yeah.
Classes, so.
No snow days though,
Huh?
no snow days anymore,
No.
they just go to remote, that's it.
Well, the only thing that killed it is the power outage.
Yeah, then that's the only time she'll call a snow day at regional, is if there's power out.
Well, I'm kind of an environmental guy, so the 2 charging stations that I got Bob to put in are working down here at the old Bank of America building. And
Oh, yeah?
they're being used pretty good, pretty regular basis.
Oh.
And, I haven't seen one up at the medical facility on South Main Street, the new one.
Yeah.
But I talked to Hartford Healthcare and they put 2 in up there.
Oh,
And my wife was up there seeing her doctor, and then she said, oh yes, one of them was being used.
huh. I haven't been in the new place, I gotta get a blood test, I think Quest is in there, right?
Yeah, Quest is in there now. They finally moved from up here.
That's good, I gotta do that tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not part of that one.
No,
You haven't seen Bob Geiger, have you?
that's not the wrong way.
Oh, yes, I thought I heard him.
Still love him. Give him a big one.
So did you sign on a new car yet?
Oh, yeah, right. Not yet.
That
It's-
2022 Hyundai Ioniq 5 is getting good reviews.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's
Because we do
gonna
like
start-
Hondas.
gonna start production on it now.
I just gotta call Mark. But I could. That's it. Okay. Okay. But just shut off the cable. Great. That's what I. Right, but that's okay. This may. Right. No, and that's up above, and I will not touch it. Oh, that's good. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Think I should leave it on? Okay. Right, it's in, Candy did explain that. Okay. Yeah. Right. Perfect. Now I know. I know. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Wait, before you scroll away.
going.
Oh, you're on?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't shut it down with have to going line stream all over again and
Well, that's where they come in there for executive session. Mr. Weir, how are you, sir?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
You get, any rain over your way?
Yeah, a lot.
Did you? I got a few drops and that was it.
Oh, no, they, well, there were two big, it lasted like 10 minutes, but it really came down hard.
Well, you got a good cell in it.
Yep, we did.
I was just looking at a new school bus, I never heard of this one. BYD. Electric, it made with 70% of US materials.
Now, most of the buses, all the cities are going electric now. Almost all the major cities. I think Torrington just going, didn't Torrington go electric with their buses?
They should, we should. we should
Waterbury.
try that one. Huh?
Waterbury did.
Waterbury?
Yeah.
Waterbury got one.
Yeah, when I
Middletown
came,
got one.
where I'm from, in Dayton, Ohio, our buses are electric, we don't have those overhead wires. We've been running electric for years, but with the,
Oh, yeah. There's no reason why you can't.
those, and of course, they probably couldn't afford to string all the wires now around the city like they did. They don't go
Yeah.
all the way to suburbs, they use
Right.
most everything.
The met-
Downtown, the whole region is still those electric, two cables
Yeah.
go up. Oh, that was.
She would go to the town hall just so she could pull it.
This was absolute.
Yeah, what's it?
Wish they had my skates.
It was pretty.
But they wait.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't have put me on top of it like that. I just used to, basically no neighbors. Rock Hill, almost, less than a mile from the past line. Half a mile, not even half a mile. Right at the top there. Nice, thank you for sharing. Well, the days of crowded town hall, motorcycle days. Shows up. That's exactly. Quiet town is that? Right. Spread the blame around if anything goes wrong. Yeah. Seems all right, there's a massive budget on their high school. They're trying to save out of the deal, it's like 35 million already, man. Yeah. I don't know how. 180, that was like 210 or something. Over. That's 20, 24, 23. Two, yeah. That's what these people are for all these tax bills. 3,000 a year. Yeah, I will. But like I said, I've been there forever. Right next to the Monaco's, I mean, Marriage, Richards, yeah. 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 We're back again. Yeah.
Long time. Long time.
We went down there outside.
Sometimes they get
Outside,
very-
I loved it.
Huh?
It's good, you know, the kids are ready, they can get
Yes.
out, inside, everything's
Yeah.
outside, get the tents up. Kind of a rainy day, you know.
If it weren't for the equipment, I'd go in my office.
But that's the incentive, to get this will work if you do it. The event is really people, meetings and, yeah.
8:03 is the second executive session.
all right. Yeah. If I get that, do you want to see it?
Oh, yeah, I'll stop down and see it.
All right, I'll try to remember to put it in my bag tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'd love to see that, because we don't get invited to that anymore.
Oh, you don't?
No, they haven't invited, well, I can see why last year, but even the year before they did.
Huh,
I don't know why.
yeah.
It's probably gonna cost.
That was a huge, huge scholarship.
Yeah, oh, yeah, well, even when Jim Rotazo's daughter won, you know, and then the girl that won it in 2020, or no, 2019, her name was Alicia Corso, I think.
Oh, yeah. That's the mom. I think it was her daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she's, both of them sent thank you notes to my wife.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
That's the only way I know.
Yeah, I put it here, and I'm pretty sure I've got the brochure. I got one for Arlene Booton.
Yeah, he deserved it.
Yeah, yeah. Yep,
Yeah, he worked hard.
yeah. There's a lot of good kids out there.
Well, he wants to be a teacher too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what age group, probably, below 12, but, you know, to start
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. I should have brought some of my stuff from the office.
Now that I'm on the Conservation Commission, I looked up a little bit about it. I didn't realize that everybody but 2 people are in the unaffiliated group.
Really?
Yeah, even Jim,
All right,
you know,
yeah.
I thought there'd be more of them.
That's such an important commission.
Huh?
That's an important commission.
Yeah, but I figured they'd have more affiliated voters,
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Right. It's hard to tell who's going to step up and offer to run.
Oh, yeah. And this, yeah, I still contribute to the Beardsley Library, and so is my daughter.
Yeah, we do too.
I mean, you got to, 'cause it's not like the town funds them that much.
It's not a lot, but they do fund them.
Yeah,
Or did,
it's not like as much as Avon funds everything.
really. Yeah. Well, maybe someday we'll be able to do more. If we keep going the way we are,
Yeah.
I hope.
Need the tax base though. Tax base is what's gonna make it run.
Yeah. Is it raining? Sounds like it's raining.
Oh, it is?
I don't know, it sounded it.
With my hearing, I don't really hear.
Yeah. No. We were supposed to get something.
Yeah, I don't think we got it. Bob says he got a good, shower over where he lives.
Yeah, I
In
heard
North
about it.
Kingston.
Yeah.
And, it looked like it was raining up in, right around,
Yeah.
George's, gas station up in 44,
Oh, yeah.
and farther out.
Right.
Yeah. Weren't they ever gonna redo the Gay Street, the Center Street,
been to a couple of meetings.
Katie, do you want us to hang around?
I don't think we need this.
All right.
Yep.
I'll
Thank
be here
you.
at 8:30 for to see Jim Rowland.
Sounds good.
Okay, well.
Excellent. See you then.
Patient, John.
Huh?
You're patient, you're still here.
You did. At least someone is.
Maybe
People are watching
online.
live stream, everybody, so. We're live right now, too.
Oh, we are?
Yes?
Okay.
That's all right, we're listed as the wrong meeting, so,
Again?
yeah,
Second time.
from June 28th.
That's right. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We have come out of executive session, which is item 5 on our agenda. We are now up to item 6, which is discussion possible action regarding executive session. So item A was the discussion possible action regarding the Town of Winchester and Laurel City revamp. So the motion I'd like to make regarding that is the Board of Selectmen agrees to release the mortgage of 35 Willow Street, also known as Capital Products, to Miller Crossing LLC. The release is contingent upon closing and payment of back taxes under the contract of sale submitted to the town for review. May I have a second for that?
Second.
Thank you, Candace. Anybody have any more questions or anything? As I hand the motion to Sheila?
It doesn't look like we're broadcasting.
We're
It's
not.
a black screen.
Everything's been running.
Oh, it looks like the recording is switched to the top right screen. The red box, correct, on the screen in front?
This one here.
Right, so how do we switch it to the top left? Is that a button?
I love your bracelet.
Okay, now we're on 194, just came up, but are we there? No, we're dark. So we're not on,
It's just a black screen.
Is that the control box that's up here at Sheila's seat?
usually it would do it, but
There is voice,
we got voice,
no picture.
no picture. That's because we're on the wrong side.
They're live streaming.
Our voices,
It's on, the live streaming is
right, so we hear
Right,
our
the
voices, but
sound is on.
but the video has to come from that camera back there. And on the screen there, one is green and one is red, the split screen.
all right.
And we're not showing over here on channel 194.
And we're on, it's on 194.
Right.
So I don't know what else. I'm trying again, Candy. I can give Mark.
Here we go, something happened. We're on 194. Oh,
It came up before
I shut
as
it down and
this,
turned it back on.
it came up as a scrolling feed on the,
On this.
On here, that would switch. At least make it a split screen or something.
Yeah.
well, I mean, somebody would have had to touch that.
Let's see, I have a picture of the way it should. Should this be on too?
We're alive.
We're up. Yep, there we go.
This one had to be pushed, it was pushed over here on computer. So I can
Okay.
move it over to camera.
Duct tape
So are we live, Todd?
Yep.
Everything's good?
It's on.
Yep, right there.
I'm a super evil genius.
Boy, that's good.
And Kurt, don't write that. Okay, so I'm gonna do that again for all our people that may be listening to us. We came out of executive session, and executive session A was regards Town of Winchester and Laurel City revamp. Our motion is the Board of Selectmen agrees to release the mortgage of 35 Willow Street, also known as Capital Products, to Miller Crossing LLC. The release is contingent on closing and payment of back taxes under the contract of sale submitted to the town for review.
Second.
Thank you, Candace, for your second again. Is there any question from anyone? All in favor? It'll be unanimous. If anybody has any questions about this, they could call our town manager, Josh Kelly, in the morning, if anybody's listening and wants to know any more information. And the next item in executive session is the Public Works Union contract. Steve?
I move that we accept the contract between the Town of Winchester and American Federation of State County Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO, Local 1303-44, Winchester Public Works Employees Unit, contract to expire June 30, 2026.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you.
Did you recognize?
I
for a second?
recognized, well, they went so fast.
They did.
I guess I recognized
Whoever.
Jack.
Whoever. You want it?
All right, so all in favor? Unanimous? I'd like to thank our town managers and the town attorneys for bringing these two items to close for us. All right, and that's all that happened in executive session. So now we will move to, we already did the town manager's report. So item 9, any correspondence? Anybody wanted to highlight? Brings us to boards and commissions. Steve?
Okay, I think there were a number of questions that have arisen about some of our candidates, which deal with the idea of residency and that sort of thing. Candace was able to get a response from Kevin Nelligan about that very issue, and I'm not sure how widely was that disseminated. Did we all get a copy of Kevin Nelligan's?
No, that was just between the selection committee and
Yes.
the town manager and
All right.
and Candy.
Could I ask you to sort of review what we've learned?
Sure. Well, there are two sections in our town charter. Section 315, appointments by the Board of Selectmen, and there are two areas where filling a vacancy has an additional requirement, and it refers to section 718. So it says members of either Planning and Zoning Commission or the Zoning Board of Appeal must be an elector of the town. That's very confusing, what elector means. An elector means, in section 7108, definition of voter and electors, means a person who elected town is a property owner of the age of 18 or more who jointly or severally is liable for town taxes and has an assessment of no less than $1,000. So that means in those two committees, you not only have to be a resident, you also have to own $1,000 worth of property. So we have situations that have come in front of us where they're property owners, but they're not residents of the town, which therefore disqualifies them according to our town charter. So,
Okay, well,
and that's
good.
been qualified, by our town attorney as well.
That's for the two land use boards, zoning board and planning and zoning. What about other boards? Does it
Doesn't
say?
affect any other board. You can be a renter.
On inland wetlands, not affected by this.
No,
But you have to be a resident.
you have to always be a resident. You have to be a resident, you have to be a registered voter, but you don't have to own the property.
So that does change some things though, because we do have people that are not residents but property owners on 2 of our boards,
Exactly.
including somebody that was just nominated, who owns property but is not a resident.
Exactly. Or who's on another commission that owns 2 properties and is no longer a resident. So, we have to review when people change their residency. We have to make sure that the chairmen notify their members that if they change residency, they have to notify the Board of Selectmen.
Okay, well, all that being said, you have in your board package an extensive list of candidates, and I'd like to just kind of go through them, and where there are issues about residency, we'll so note. So starting with the first, Shane Centrella, candidate for Economic Development Commission. Again, this is something that is done by the town manager with our support. So we will help vet Shane Centrella as a member of the EDC, alternate position, term to expire April of 2026. And so just acknowledging that he's a candidate at this point, we're not nominating him. The next candidate, there is a question about residency because there's a home that is owned in Avon, and there's a home that is owned at the lake. So we're going to have to work on residency with that particular nomination before that can go forward. The next name is Willie Platt, candidate for the Conservation Committee, a permanent position, term to expire on May of 2025. I feel confident, since he is already a member of another board or commission that we have vetted, I would suggest that we do a nomination so that it's a 2-step process for Willard Platt, if that's okay with everyone. And if it is, I will place a nomination, the name of Willie Platt for the Conservation Committee, permanent member, term to expire May of 2025. Okay, on the next round of names here, the name you see listed, there's a question about residency. It appears that he is not a resident, and so his nomination will not go forward unless we get information to the contrary, and I will contact him to make sure that he is not a resident of this community, but we believe he's not. The next name, Mark Gizzi. This is an appointment, so I would move to appoint Mark Gizzi as a member of the Conservation Commission, permanent membership, term to expire in May of 2026.
Second.
We're quick tonight. Any other questions by anyone? All in favor? Unanimous.
The next is also a candidate that has been before us before, has been nominated, so I would move to appoint Mark Gizzi as a member of the Conservation Commission.
No, Joseph Wolfkowski, next one.
Wow, really? I did?
You did it.
Thank you. I would nominate to appoint Joseph Lefkowski as a member of the Recreation Board, as a permanent member, term to expire in April of 2027.
A second. Thank you. Any more questions? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
On the next one, and refresh my memory, Linda, is this a residency issue as well?
No, she resides in town and she is a registered voter.
Okay, so we're ready to move to appoint Kathy Lacasse or Lacasse to the Recreation Board, permanent membership, term to expire on April of 2028.
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
Okay. On the next one, I would move to support the nomination to the Economic Development Commission of Kevin O'Connell, an alternate position, term to expire April of 2026.
Supporting it because it's an appointment by the town manager.
That's correct.
A second? Or a second?
We don't have to do anything,
No,
we're just
'cause he's
supporting
just
it. It says no second.
Okay, and then the next name, John Wiarda, still here? Yes, he is. To appoint John Wiarda as a member of the Conservation Commission, permanent membership, term to expire May of 2025.
Thank you, Melissa, for the second. All in favor? There you go, John.
Okay, and then there are, let's see, next page.
Reappointments.
I move to reappoint Deborah Kessler as a member of the Soldiers Monument Commission, permanent membership, term to expire June of 2025.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Unanimous?
And finally, well, not finally, but next, I'd like to acknowledge the resignation of Noreen Marchand as a member of the Soldiers Monument Commission. Noreen has given service to the commission for 10 years, and we appreciate her service to the community and acknowledge her resignation.
Just to clarify, it's not a resignation. She just did not want to be reappointed to another 5-year term.
Good point, thank you. And there are two other names that I would like to put forward for consideration. We have information from Amanda Hill, who would like to be a member of the Conservation Commission, and so we'll begin that vetting process. And we have a letter of intent from Charlene Lavoie to become a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission. And so we'll acknowledge those two and begin the vetting process.
And I would like to add one more person to begin the vetting process, a person who wrote to me today, and I just got her letter, Kristen, Kristin, Dowler, Dowler, 123 Skinner Road. I'll pass out her letter of interest. And she would like to be appointed to the vacancy that has been created by Noreen's not being reappointed to the Soldiers Monument Commission. So if you would just pass that to everybody. Kristen will be filling out a form that we now use. I didn't have that form to give to her. We're seeking it.
So everyone knows it's online on our website.
Yeah, I know, but,
No, I'm just saying, so the audience knows that.
oh, okay. It's under which heading, though?
Boards and commissions.
And the form is there. Okay, all right. We would like to put her name in for vetting and then discussion the next meeting so she can be appointed officially at the August meeting.
That would be the report.
Okay, thank you. Brings us to number 11, which is new business. And I'm going to turn it over to Josh for its affordable housing plan application.
Thank you, Candy. So as I was discussing during my manager's update, I have had the opportunity now to learn a lot more about the housing requirements that the state is putting on municipalities. So as I stated, all municipalities are required to meet one of two requirements. Either A, by July 1st of 2022, you must have a municipal housing plan in place, or B, you must meet a 10% threshold. That means 10% of all homes in your municipality, in our case Winchester, must meet the state's definition of affordable. The state's definition of affordable has changed a bit over the years, is a little bit of a moving target, and is constantly being updated. But it's important to note that as we move forward, Winchester does meet that requirement. We're not necessarily bound as we move forward by any requirement to have a housing plan, but as we consider the future of the town and how we try and put together a comprehensive plan for development, I believe that thinking about the way in which we present the town's housing and the types of housing and the amount of each type of housing that we offer here is a very important part of what it is that it means to participate in the town's economic development. So I have done a little bit of research into a grant opportunity that the state of Connecticut is offering right now. They're offering up to $15,000 to any municipality that so applies, and they haven't denied any applications yet, and they are offering them out on a rolling basis. And all that needs to be done is to put in an application, the pages for which are here in your packets, and I'll go through some of the specifics in just a second. And if we put this application forward, we could be given up to $15,000. You'll see requested we have $14,900. And there are a number of municipalities working with the Northwest Hills Council of Governments to put together these housing plans, these comprehensive housing plans. The Council of Governments feels that it's well equipped to help municipalities put these together. And in our area, I believe that there are 9 other in our COG, there are 9 other municipalities that have already applied for this funding. That funding being dedicated to paying the COG for help, really, in developing this housing plan. So the COG is trying to act in this sense as a contracting agency to help put these plans together. I have had to sit down now with Katie Vale, our social services coordinator, and Jocelyn Iyer from the Council of Governments, and they have offered us the same opportunity as the other 9 municipalities in our COG, including but not limited to Litchfield is the one that comes to mind that has taken up this opportunity. So we have an opportunity, we have the chance to take advantage of state funds to put together a plan that will be, from my perspective, a cornerstone and centerpiece of the economic development plan that we all discussed here last time, that I believe is really vital and essential to moving the town forward. It will give us some insight into what already exists here in town, and I believe that it will help us better understand how we need to steer the proverbial ship forward as we look to potentially have new development here in town or see the redevelopment of older buildings. A lot more information obviously will come from the development of the plan itself. There's a lot of research to be done. I do want to highlight a couple of items on the budget form. At the top, you'll see it says Exhibit 1, AHPG budget form. It does, about halfway down the page, have a list of uses of funds. The Department of Housing share is the amount that we are requesting for different components of the grant from the state. The town share is not only representative of the amount of money we de facto will spend in our effort to create a housing plan, but it also represents the amount of in-kind contribution that we will give towards the development of this plan. So, for example, over to the left-hand side, you'll see that town staff support. I've put aside $3,878.02. That is a calculation of a portion of my salary, a portion of Pam Columbi's salary in our planning office, and a portion of Katie Vale's salary, our social services coordinator, because we are the 3 primary members of the town staff who would be working on developing this plan in conjunction with the COG, who we would be using as the primary contractor. It also, I've listed $100. There is a requirement as part of this plan to have some public feedback, and it was the recommendation of the COG that we put in a simple $100 for refreshments in the event that we have an in-person public meeting. We're not tied to any of these costs. I should note, this is an estimate that we are giving the Department of Housing. And there is a $1,200 projected expenditure that I've listed as the town share under community outreach and engagement and printing and publication that will allow us to and recognizes the fact that we will dedicate an amount of space in a future newsletter to publishing information about the fact that we're moving forward with housing plans and development. So this is the proposal in front of you. I believe it's in our best interest to try and get as much state money to further our economic development prospects as possible. And I recommend that you approve my submission of this application to the state of Connecticut.
I just have a question. So are we trying to increase the affordable housing in town, or we're trying to revamp what we already have? I think it makes a difference here.
Absolutely. And I don't think, there is no requirement for us to increase our affordable housing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, I understand that.
So the plan is, really the purpose of developing a plan is to make sure that we have, first and foremost, a full inventory of what is in town, and then to work with the COG as our consultants to figure out what are the action steps that we would like to take and that we would like to have outlined in this plan to make our housing stock something that is unique, attractive, and dynamic as we move forward into the future. It involves a component of a housing plan, mentions affordable housing. We've already checked off that box. What we would like to use this money for is to help us understand what kinds of housing is desired here so that we can help grow the grand list, so that we can make sure that we are meeting demand where it exists out in the market and that people aren't skipping over Winchester because the type of housing that people are looking for doesn't exist here, and more. So I think it's a very comprehensive look at housing as an economic development tool, as opposed to looking at it from the small silo of is it affordable or is it not, and how do we increase that the affordable stock.
Is it near transportation, you know?
Yes, there are a lot, exactly.
So do we
a lot
have
of
them
dimensions.
positioned where they can,
Is it walkable to a grocery store? Right. These are all questions that, modern economic development practices suggest we should be asking
I have
about our housing stock.
I have two questions, I guess. Part of it is also around healthy housing too.
Yes.
Which fits into our blight program, correct?
Absolutely.
Making sure that we know about healthy and, conducive to, living for a family, which we've had trouble with over the past couple of years. And then the second thing is, when the COG does all this, will they be taking the 9 towns that are participating and kind of make a report where you could see what one town is doing and other towns around it have, do you think, or is this just gonna be standalones?
My understanding is that they're going to be using one template, so it should be to some extent comparable. I don't believe that it will be one report, though. We have to have our own individual report, and each other town will have their individual reports. But I would be curious to see if maybe the 10 towns at this point would be able to sit down and talk about what are the unique properties of each of those municipalities.
Because one of the things that I know is, just our housing lots, the requirements for what's a buildable lot. In surrounding towns, there's like 2-acre zoning in some places. And we don't, we have different levels of zoning and what we have in the other larger town to the south of us and whatnot. So I'd be interested in seeing some of that too, if there's a way that once they all come out, we could see them.
Absolutely.
But I think it's a good idea to do it. I think it's helpful. Anybody else have any questions? So the COG with Jocelyn are gonna be all coordinating this, and will they be doing the research through demographics, or how are they gonna get the information?
Some of the demographic information is going to come from the most recent census in the American Annual Survey. Some of it will be done through public outreach, and for the most part, they'll be taking the lead on that. And then if there's anything that's missing after they've evaluated from those 2 avenues, they would be working with myself, Pam, and Katie to develop a strategy to get that information.
And the report has to be finished by October of next year.
It's in the event that we were to be required, for municipalities that are required to have the affordable housing plan in place before that year or that date, yes. However, we are exempt because we have over 10% of our housing stock as affordable housing. So we can take our time with it, but that being said, we'll be working forward on that timeline, so long as it's not detrimental to the process.
If there's no other questions, could somebody read the motion that was written for us?
I move that the Board of Selectmen adopt resolution number 21-48, supporting the State of Connecticut Affordable Housing Plan application.
Thank you, Linda, for the second. Any other questions? Not all in favor? Okay, unanimous, thank you. 12, citizens' comments? No, thank you. Okay. Next up, selectmen's comments and reports. Anyone?
Just I know I brought this up several times in the past. These reports that we get, savings report by the month, and I was just looking it over, and from 2012 to the present, the usage has dropped considerably, and I'm just wondering if we need to do more public relations on this, just to let taxpayers know it's available. Since we get these reports in our packet, and you look at the usage that has dropped over the years, I mean, there may be lots of reasons why it's dropped, but I'm wondering if the program is still available, we should publicize it a little bit more.
Maybe just put it on the Facebook page first.
We can do that. Thank you, Jack.
I'm guessing because more people have become insured.
Yeah, there's lots of reasons. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, well, I have one of those cards, but I wouldn't use it.
Yeah, how many times have you used it?
None.
None.
Well,
Neither
because
have I.
I'm very fortunate that I have
Yeah.
health insurance, so.
But there may be some people out there, that Kathy should know about this program. Kathy Vale.
Yep.
So, go ahead.
Summer concerts, but I do not feel confident that Thursday will happen with an 80% chance of rain. So that will probably be canceled, unfortunately. But
Well, I mean, it's a good series. And,
yes,
you know,
and the Northwest Community Bank's given us a new banner with all their new logos of the companies that work for them. So, I mean, our underneath them now, all the different acquisitions they've made. So that's very exciting. And we thank them for their sponsorship of the concerts.
Good. Todd?
So we are approaching the 1-year anniversary of, I guess it was Hurricane Isis. And there's another tropical storm moving this way, possibly for the end of the week. I know it was before you and before we hired Katie, but we had talked about looking into sort of putting together some sort of registry for disabled residents or residents who lost power and needed oxygen or other things that would necessitate power. Do you know if we looked into anything with that? Would it fall under emergency services
It would
or
be an emergency
Katie?
services.
I know that there's a lot of work that's been done on
Okay.
hurricane response since ECES, because there were so many issues, not just, well, not necessarily even on the town side, but on the state side and with utilities as well. So it's very possible, but I don't have that information in front of me.
So if anybody was listening that had issues, you know, with power going out and needed some help, they should contact town, you know, either the town manager's office or social services director.
Yes.
And I guess one thing I would add to that too, Todd, and I think that one of the things that people might not like remember, like even sometimes I want to, that when you use your phone, your home phone through your computer, when the power goes out, that phone no longer works. So if you have Frontier and you have a copper line, your phone could work if the power goes out or a tree comes down sometimes. But if your phone is through the computer and spectrum goes down, a line goes down, you have no electricity, that phone will not work. So at your house, you have to be prepared for that. And if you have a cell phone, you also have to be prepared to be able to charge when the electricity is out. And then your cars maybe could charge, but you might need to charge somewhere else. And sometimes they sell, what, John, those solar packs for chargers and stuff. So when part of being prepared is also remembering, I think, those two things. Because The last time, last August, that's the main issues that we saw here. And then the cell tower went down because somebody stole those batteries out of the cell tower, and nobody knew. But I think the computer-driven telephone in your house does not work when electricity goes out.
I got that solar pack for my birthday from my neighbor.
Oh, did you?
Or you could have a landline.
Or you could have a landline. Right, and landlines are great, but sometimes landlines are also expensive. I tell you, one landline is like over $50, where the line connected to your computer is $9.99.
Yeah, but you're already paying $80 for that.
Right.
So it's $89.99.
Yes, well, I mean, you have to have all the other stuff. But I'd also like to take a moment to thank Candace, especially for her coordination of all the banners and bunting that has been put up over the past couple of weeks. As you know, we have a committee, Winchester 250, and we all do lots of little things here and there, and some of us take different tasks on, and her task was to get these banners up. And if you've seen some of the pictures that are out there, I've driven by in person, they look, on the big buildings there, they look pretty spectacular. So thank you for your work on that.
It's fun.
I know you've been working on them since like January, February.
Need to buy more bunting too, so.
And we'd also invite people to put out some bunting. I know that somebody sent me some pictures of houses that have put out bunting, whether it was for the July 4th, but if you'd like to join Winchester 250 celebration, adding some bunting to your house or your deck, your railings, please do so. That would be great. So is there anything else?
I do. From time to time, we get these emails at the town website, and I'm just wondering if there's a response. For example, we've got, I assume we all got the email about Rockwell Street, the no parking signs. Was there, how do we know there's a response when issues like this are raised?
Those are all items, if I'm CC'd on them, that I will follow from start to finish, just to make, I might not even be part of the conversation, but I will make sure that the department directors that they've been directed to are following up and responding on that issue in particular. I believe that Linda, you had a conversation with the chief of police?
Chief, yeah, that's been resolved.
Okay,
So basically what I would say, Steve, too, is whenever I get these contact things,
yeah.
you know, and I might get more than you all, maybe, I don't know, but I always forward them to the town manager, whether it was Josh or somebody before this. I don't keep them to myself. I'll respond to the person, thank you for letting me know. I'll usually say I am not the day-to-day operations manager of the town. I just chair meetings here. So the person that we really need to talk to is the town manager. So I will respond to the person that I had it, so they know I wasn't just like not listening. But I can't, I could let the town manager know, who then has to talk to staff and work the issue out with everyone. So if you get one and you just ship them over to,
Well, this was CC to the chief, so I assume there was some sort of response, but I don't know that.
Well, I think that same party did email a response a week later saying everything was resolved and thanked the chief for resolving it.
Is that true?
yes, there was one that went back up.
All right, so I missed that.
But in future managers' reports, I will try and think of a tactful way and a concise way to make sure that, especially communications, if they go out to all selectmen for any reason, that there's some follow-up and you have an understanding of where that item lays.
Thanks.
No problem.
Is there anything else?
Move we adjourn.
That was quick.
Second.
Second, thank you. Even quicker. All in favor? Thank you. Unanimous. Give it to Todd.